Hello, GCCIZ. I just want to say what an absolute honor it is to stand before you today and share this moment with all of you. Thank you for this opportunity. That being said, I want to start this without sugarcoating any details because life sure didn't sugarcoat anything for me. For most of middle school and even to the start of high school, I battled a wave of internal struggles I never saw coming. A regime of brutal thoughts took over some of the most formative years of my life and left me in pieces. I always cared about my grades, about school, and took on a challenge when offered. But the brutality of the pandemic crushed that part of me. It ruined what used to be an enthusiastic girl full of dreams and ambitions, leaving me adrift in a place I never imagined I'd be lost in. Mental health broke me in ways that made my grades slip, and my ambitions feel impossibly far away. There were days when I wasn't even sure if I could ever find my way back. But here I am, standing on this podium, talking to you. During 7th grade, while quarantine was still hanging over us, many students had already started returning to school. For me, that shift only made things worse. My anxiety was unbearable. I was constantly sent to counselor's office, not because I asked, but because they didn't know what else to do with me. Oftentimes, I had panic episodes that obstructed lessons, leaving me to feel like a burden. My constant apprehensiveness made people uneasy. Teachers knew me. They saw me, many questioning my competence. Others were more compassionate. That constant feeling that eyes were all on me consumed me. And even then, I felt inconsistent because my anxiety was sudden and obstructive. That made peers around me feel uneasy. After a while, those check-ins stopped feeling like an authentic support system, but more like a to-do. Another box to check, another hallway I dreaded walking down. By 8th grade, I was falling apart. My grades were slipping, and my energy was evaporating. I didn't recognize the person I used to be. I felt like a ghost, wandering through hallways, disconnected from who I used to be, while the world around me kept going, like a clamorous piano playing in the background of my quietness. But in all that noise, one counselor stood out to me. She didn't treat me like a problem child, but rather a person deserving of compassion. She was patient, kind, sympathetic, always asked questions, not about my grades, what I can do to improve, but about me. One day, she gave me a set of acrylics and brushes because she remembered I had mentioned that I liked art. That gesture might seem small, but to me, it meant everything. Someone saw me. It was the first time I felt understood. Most nights, I punished myself by drawing shallow razor lines down my body, each cut representing an outlet for the anger I couldn't aim at anyone else. Because after all, I was angry at myself. And at every welt I left on my skin, it felt like doing justice to the mistakes I thought I made. When I was too scared to say what I was doing to myself, she told my family. That conversation, it saved my life. I might have been angry with her then, but now, I'm endlessly grateful. She's the reason I decided to keep going. She believed in me when I didn't. The reason I learned to take advantage of the opportunities around me and to dream again. To believe that even with everything I've been through, I could still be someone. Now, I'm a senior in high school, taking college classes, leading clubs, building my art portfolio, and applying to the dream schools I promised my 6th grade self I'd chase. But this didn't happen because I did it alone. It happened because someone chose to care. That's why I'm talking to you today. You. Teachers, staff, counselors, advisors, everyone part of the GCCIZ community can be that someone. You don't need a fancy title to be that person in someone's life. You just have to care enough to listen, care enough to notice, care enough to reach out before it's too late to make a difference in someone's life. Sometimes, just by being present, you can offer someone something they didn't even realize they needed. A lifeline. You may not know how far your small moments of compassion can go, but I do. Let me be that example, because I'm here, happy, healed, thriving, and motivated by my future. All thanks to them, people who cared and invested in me. Goose Creek CISE has some of the most genuine and dedicated educators I've met. I've seen it. They challenged me and believed in me, even when I was unsure of myself. So let me say this clearly. What you do here matters more than one can think. One moment of kindness can change a student's life, not just their grades, everything. Because those little moments, they stick. They matter more than anyone realizes. The teacher who leaves the door open for the kid who always shows up late so that they don't feel ashamed to walk in. To the lunch lady who greets you by name at the counter, taking a moment to ask about your day, turning a simple lunch break into a sincere interaction. To the coach who notices you struggling after practice, takes a moment to pull you aside and gently asks if you need a minute to catch your breath, showing that your well-being is just as important as your performance. To the front office staff who still greets a student with a smile, even when they're there for another dress code violation, knowing some students just need a little bit of patience, not punishment. To the sub who notices when a student was quietly crying in the back of the room, and without a word, gently slipped a sticky note that read, "It's okay." To the counselor who gives a student paintbrushes, not because it's her job, but because she remembered they once said art made them feel like themselves again. That can be you. If you ever doubted whether you could ever make a difference in a student's life, don't. Your impact matters more than you'll ever know, because you're already someone's lifeline, maybe even their only one. And that means a lot more than one could ever imagine. To everyone here today, I have one thing I'd like to remind you. Don't underestimate your impact. Be the counselor who leaves a pair of acrylics for your student. Be the teacher who uplifts your class and takes every second to remind them, you've got what it takes. Be the person who doesn't wait for a student to speak, but speaks what they're too afraid to say. Because one day, that student might be standing here where I am now saying, "Thank you. You saved my life." And that's a legacy worth building. I hope we can make this 2025-2026 school year one of the best. To all the educators and staff, make your impact worthwhile. It's been my pleasure and honor to speak to all of you today. Thank you.